Welcome to Keys to Columbus, where we unlock doors in Columbus and the surrounding towns, suburbs, and neighborhoods, exploring lifestyle, culture, and, of course, real estate. I'm Jim Bevins, your host and tour guide. Today, I'm so happy to welcome you to my hometown, Westerville, Ohio. Located just north of Columbus, Westerville has grown to be the area's largest suburb, but thanks to thoughtful city planning, it never lost its small hometown feel. It's homecoming season. I'm a proud graduate of Westerville North. I thought this would be the perfect time for me to rediscover my favorite city with a friend from high school who also happens to be my wife. Mary is a Westerville South alumni, and yes, that makes us rivals. But when it comes to Westerville, we're both on the same team.
Thank you, Jim, for inviting a Wildcat to co-host with you. We are living proof that Warriors and Wildcats can get along. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you through Westerville. Together, we'll tour the city and give viewers a close-up look at some of our favorite gathering spots, shops, and attractions. Later in the show, we'll be at the annual Westerville North versus South football game and attend a tailgate party at a brewery owned by some new friends that hail from Westerville Central.
But first, let's go back in time before breweries and bars became main attractions in Westerville. Anyone who grew up in Westerville prior to 2000 knows about its legacy as the dry capital of the world, but millennials and beyond may not be so familiar with this part of Westerville's history. To get an expert's perspective on this chapter in Westerville's story, I met with Jackie Barton, historian at the Westerville History Museum. We're here with Jackie, and Jackie, we're going to talk about some fascinating stuff, Underground Railroad, the Anti-Saloon League, and how it is that Westerville became the dry capital of the world. What can you share with us?
It's interesting, after the Civil War ends and slavery is abolished, we have this period of time where we don't need the Underground Railroad anymore, right? And we have these citizens in Westerville who are religious, who are used to being activists. And after a little bit of time passes, we get to about the 1870s, and what we see is that they turn their attention to a new cause that they really care about, that sort of taps into some of those same sentiments, and that's temperance, which is moderated drinking. You could get your alcohol, for example, from the pharmacy.
I gave you an excuse to...
that it had medicinal purposes. That was a thing that people understood and were comfortable with. But if there was a saloon, that was something that would be different, right? That would be excess, that would have a criminal element potentially. As we come into the 1870s in Westerville, we have a local businessman, Henry Corbin, and his wife, Mary Corbin, and they decide they're going to open a saloon. They face incredible local opposition. It's called the Whiskey Wars, because not only do they face activism, not only do they face protests, they also face people egging their building, throwing rocks through their building, throwing rocks through their building windows, and ultimately blowing their building up with gunpowder, not once, but multiple times. Okay. The other thing you might hear about the Whiskey Wars and Henry is he comes to his door a lot with guns, right? And he'll tell people that he's gonna shoot them, he's gonna shoot their heart out. He's very sort of direct, let's say, in his threats. So it was a really interesting thing to kind of watch unfurling in the national papers, and it also sort of put Westerville on the map as a place that really, really did not want want alcohol here in the form of saloons or bars.
The whole development of the Anti-Saloon League, can you tell us about how Ohio really became a part of that with the movement of the Anti-Saloon League to Westerville?
Yeah, after the whiskey wars happened in Westerville, like I said, we have this reputation, right? We have a national reputation as a place that is really a hotbed of temperance activity. The Anti-Saloon League is a national temperance organization happening in Oberlin, Ohio. They start to look for a headquarters, and the Westerville business community actually donates the site that we're standing on today to the Anti-Saloon League to attract them here. And we really think also that probably the reputation of Westerville didn't hurt. One of the interesting things about Westerville is its development was driven a lot by Anti-Saloon League. One place you see it is in what we call Temperance Row, which is a whole area of historic houses that the Anti-Saloon League leaders lived in here in Westerville. They're beautiful historic homes that they built and lived in that were walking distance to the headquarters here. So they really became a massive organization, and they really kind of took over in terms of the voice of prohibition in America leading up to the constitutional amendment.
So with the Anti-Saloon League was a big part of the constitutional change, right?
The constitutional amendment passes
So the 18th Amendment, and so
1919.
and then from there we then talk about how Westerville then became no longer a dry town.
When the Prohibition Amendment was repealed in the 1930s, you still had people here. This is what's relevant to Westerville. You still had some people here in this building who were continuing to work on temperance education, who continued to believe in this cause, and they continued to work on educating the public about the value of temperance. And they did that work, and they actually were in this building doing that work until 1973. And so Westerville was dry until the 1990s, when they had local laws that kept them dry. And then in the 90s, Westerville annexed some land. There were properties on it that had alcohol permits. Westerville sort of backed into being wet. It was not until 2004 that Uptown became wet.
Because the Westerville voted
Yes.
in 2004, passed it, but then we didn't get the first alcohol served in 2004.
So the referendum passed in 2004 that would allow for liquor licenses in Uptown. Michael's Pizza got ready to serve before Old Bag of Nails was ready to open up with their alcohol. Their first beer was $150 because they gave the money to Warm as a donation.
And that's the local charity, Warm.
Yes.
Well, this is excellent. I appreciate so much all the knowledge that you shared. You've become my favorite historian, so thank you.
Oh.
We're gonna go check out some of the more pieces that you have here. This is amazing, the preservation of all of the pictures and artwork and posters for the Anti-Saloon League, so thank you.
Yeah.
Since the alcohol ban was lifted in 2004, 77 businesses have obtained liquor permits in Westerville, transforming the city's landscape and substantially boosting the economy. One such establishment is Temperance Row Brewing Company, Westerville's first microbrewery. I visited with owner Tony Kabalowski to discuss how it honors the history of the temperance movement, the restaurant's distinctive menu, and of course, the beer. So Tony, tell me about how you got the name Temperance and where you came up with that.
So Westerville, known as kind of the home of prohibition, dry capital of the world, right? So when we're opening up, we're using a deli, we're hoping to have it a brewery as well. So when you see out front, the Uptown Deli and Brew sign, was kind of at the time, alcohol was still a little bit not sure about being in Uptown or not, and we didn't want to press the matter by putting brewery explicitly on the front, so we called it Uptown Deli and Brew. And then the idea was, as you walk through the space, kind of like we just did right now, you walk from deli front into the listed brewery in the back, and that's kind of what brought up the Temperance Row. So the Temperance Row Historical District is just around the corner on Otterbeins campus. So we saw the marker said Temperance Row Historical District, and I thought, wow, Temperance Row would be a great name for the brewery, and that's the transition.
So I understand that a lot of your the beers that you brew here have taken on some unique names.
Coming with the research, and what we settled on Temperance Row being the name of the beer, you start looking around, and there's so much history to draw from. in Westerville and Prohibition in general, but Westerville specifically, right? So we went to the library. I think you were there probably earlier, and we went through and started reading the history and looking into articles to come up with names or concepts or ideas that we'd use later on, right? So Two Pistols is probably the best example. Reading an article in a paper from the late 1800s, and it talked about Mr. Corbin, Henry Corbin, that had Corbin Saloon, that he anticipated trouble the night before when he was going to open the next day. So the article reads that he opened the door wielding 2 pistols.
Yeah.
So I kind of highlighted 2 pistols, and I was like, man, that sounds cool. I don't know if it's going to be a beer or a cocktail, but we could use it, right?
Sure.
There's a Corbin's Revenge, 40-ton porter. You go through the list: Hatchetation, IPA, our Scofflaw Scottish Ale is one of our biggest ones. Scofflaw coming up from the name that was in the Chicago Tribune. They came up with a contest for someone to name what would you call people during the Prohibition era that were still drinking, and they came up with Scofflaw. So we kind of went through the whole gamut, and that's if you look at our menu, it has a description of the beer, the style, all the characteristics, but then there's usually a little blurb afterwards that kind of ties it back into the temperance movement, Prohibition, and Uptown specifically, right?
With the deli up front, that's a lot of, you try to get local food supply for that too?
We do a mix of local and imported, right? Because we have a European twist to it. My family is from Europe. We come in, and so if you see prosciutto, you know that's that's from Italy, right?
Yeah.
Our anchovies, those are white anchovies. Those are Italian as well. So whatever we can use local, we try to, including like obviously our beer, but other suppliers as well.
I think it's time to get something to eat.
All right. Well, let's head over to the table.
Okay.
Doors down from Temperance Row Brewing Company is my #1 choice for home decor and gift shopping in Uptown. Edwin Loy Home is owned by Tony's wife, Amy Winter Kabalowski. They are happy neighbors in business and partners in life. I popped in to chat with Amy about what makes her shop so special. Hi, Amy.
Hey, Mary, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thanks for having me today.
Of course,
I'm excited to get a look, insider's look at your shop.
Great, I'm ready to show you around.
So Amy, I've been in your shop many times before.
Yep.
I love it. One of the reasons I like to come here so much is I know that I can always find a gift. Always been curious. The name Edwin Loy, where does that come from?
Yeah, I have a lot of people ask me all the time, so it's not uncommon. Edwin Loy Home comes from a combination of my family names. So my aunt, her last name is Edwards. My maiden last name is Winter. So I combined that to form Edwin.
Oh, okay.
And then Loy is my great-grandmother's maiden name.
Tell me about your history as far as you mentioned your aunt had a shop in Delaware. Is that how you got into this? Just tell me a little bit about how this all developed.
Sure. I always knew at some point I wanted to have my own business from a younger age. I've been artistic my whole life. During my senior year of college, my aunt had her shop and I worked for her. It was a furniture store, so I was able to work alongside her and go to markets with her, kind of buy the product, know how to do that. I really do love it. It's really my creative part gets to come out during that whole time, especially at the holiday season when we do our big Christmas open house. I get to kind of make over the whole shop and create a unique experience for every customer that walks through the door. So I really enjoy doing that.
Tell me more about the Christmas display and the event that you have that goes around that.
Yeah. During the pandemic, we really started this whole open house event. Now what we do is we shut the store down for a whole week. And during that time, my staff and I flip the shop to Christmas. And then we kick it off with a VIP event where it's a ticketed event that you get to come in and experience catered spread from Uptown Deli and Brew, which is owned by my husband.
Right.
And then you get first dibs on all of our holiday decor, and you get to have a fun evening with either your girlfriends, your husband, your family, sister, whatever it might be.
What do you think differentiates your shop to others that are similar?
I feel like my artistic background and the warmth that we give every customer really does go a long ways. I have done art my whole life, and I feel like I get to kind of bring out my art in my shop and kind of make it unique and one of a kind. It's unique, it's hand curated. We pick out everything that you find in here, so I really think it's just kind of a one of a kind experience.
Well, that's great. So I did notice on your website also that it does say that this is a curated lifestyle shop.
So every year, January, there is a large market down in Atlanta. It's called the America's Mart. And my mom and I, she works for me part-time. We go down there, we spend a week, and we go from showroom to showroom, hand picking out every item that you'll find in our store. So we really take the time to evaluate the quality of the pieces, the price point, to make sure that it reflects a good price point for our customers. So we have things that anyone could shop from. I like to go out and find unique, one-of-a-kind items that really are that one-of-a-kind curated piece.
I love your shop.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to start looking around.
We appreciate you coming in. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Right across the street from Edwin Loy is a Twist on Olives. This gourmet olive oil and vinegar boutique has been stocking my pantry for years, and the delicious flavors complement my meals on the daily. I visited with owner Rosa Marchi for a tour and to learn more about what she calls a tasting emporium. Thanks, Rosa, for having me today. I'm so excited to learn more about this shop. I mean, as you know, I'm a regular. I've always wanted to know more about how it came into being. So I just want to talk a little bit about how you got into the business.
Well, basically, it was a fluke, an accident of sorts. My niece had gone to a store in another city and brought back some samples of extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegars. I tasted them, I loved them, and I love to cook. And after that, it was just moving forward. I looked into the business, and here we are 13 years later.
I can do a salad with straight vinegar with these vinegars because the taste is just so good. And it's hard to believe that there aren't any added sugars.
The sweetness just comes from the
actual grapes.
No added refined sugar, no colorings, no additives.
Tell me about what you want the customer to experience when they come in.
The beauty of our store is that you get to sample everything and before you buy. We do carry extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegars. Extra virgin olive oil is basically the first press of the olive. Olives are pressed more than once, but by the second and third time, they'll have to use a heat or a chemical to extract the remaining oil, and you're not getting all the health benefits. So the only thing you want are extra virgin olive oil, which is the only thing that we do carry.
Okay. Earlier you had mentioned the crushing times throughout the year, which I think is something that most people don't know.
Most people do not know. Olives are pressed once a year in each hemisphere. The southern hemisphere is Australia, South Africa, and South America, and they typically crush it April and May. The northern hemisphere, Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, and the United States, crushes in late October and November. So you can get the same olive from a different country, but it will taste differently because of the climate and the soil.
Okay.
The most important thing that I do tell our customers when they come in is that you need to know how fresh they are. The back of the bottle from the grocery store basically just says best if used by, and the second thing that I want them to look for, it says contains olives from other countries. Whereas if you look at this one, for example, the Picual, it is an extra virgin olive oil. It's mild intensity. It was crushed in May of 2025, so the next crush is not going to be until May 2026. It comes from Chile.
This has been a great time. I've learned more than I ever thought I could about olive oil, vinegar, the process. Now I'm ready to go shopping. Have you pour me some oil?
Let's do it.
Go. We're here at a beautiful home we're about to see that sits in the heart of Uptown Westerville. Living in a home like this truly is the best of both worlds. Westerville has been described as the city within a park, where small town charm meets big city style. Now let's go see this house.
Okay.
This beautifully restored 1903 Victorian is a bright and airy 2-story, 3-bedroom, 3 full bath home that boasts original hardwood floors, exquisite trim molding, and antique details that reflect its early 20th century craftsmanship. Highlights of the gourmet kitchen include quartz countertops with waterfall edge, soft close cabinetry, elegant finishes, and the latest modern appliances. The master suite has a spa-inspired bath with marble floors and shower surround.
These are really nice size spare rooms.
They're very large.
And then this really cute Jack and Jill in between.
There is a detached 2-car garage with attic space for storage and potential to add loft space. Spend relaxing evenings beneath the turret roof on the front porch or unwind in the spacious fenced backyard. Just blocks from uptown Westerville, you'll love walking to shops, dining, and community events while enjoying the unique character of the neighborhood.
Housed in one of the oldest buildings from 19th century Westerville is my favorite winery, Good Vibes. Jen, thanks for having me today to your wonderful winery. You know that I love it here. The theme here is good friends, good times, good vibes, right?
Absolutely.
So you purchased the winery in 2018, correct?
Correct.
And did you have any experience prior with wineries or making?
So I had never really made wine before, obviously in a professional manner. I really enjoy wine. So when this opportunity presented itself, it's something I kind of jumped on, especially being in uptown Westerville is such a beautiful area to have a small business. So it's something that's really worked out, and I'm really happy I kind of took the leap.
Well, speaking of the wines, we've got our Sweet Emotion.
Sweet Emotion.
Yes. That's one of the things that I really like about it here too, is a little different, is that you have different wines that you wouldn't necessarily find in other places.
So we have a bunch of different wines here. We sell about 50% dry wines, 50% sweet wines. Our vibe here at Good Vibes is we name all of our wines after classic songs. So example, what we're drinking today is a Sweet Emotion. It's a little fallish. It's a green apple Riesling. So cheers. And as you know, also we do a lot of activities at Good Vibes. Every Friday we have live music at Good Vibes. People can kind of come in, have some wine, listen to live music, have a good time. We also do a lot of activities with like Arts Council of Westerville. We'll do activities with other pop-up vendors. And so, you know, we always just like to try to have different things going on at Good Vibes that people can enjoy, not just the winery, but the uptown area, different vendors, different activities going on.
So tell me a little bit about the actual wine making process. You make it here on site, which you would never guess that.
Everybody. So we are a winery. We do not have a vineyard. So that's what we do tell people. I do not grow my own grapes, but primarily I'm getting my grapes from outside source. They're usually coming from California, though there might be different vineyards in different locations, depending on the type of wine. But it all starts here. We have our fermentation tanks in a different room. So the process starts here from start to finish. We start making the wine here. We bottle the wines here. We label the wines here.
Wow.
Yes. And it's a really fun process. It is.
Yeah. One of the other things I love about the winery here is your products.
Thank you.
They brought along my favorite.
Thank you, the Good Vibes
hats.
hat.
Yes, many different colors. I know other products like magnets and little gnome bottle toppers at Christmas are great.
Right, and then while you're shopping, you can get a glass of wine as you shop. And who doesn't want to shop and drink wine at the same time?
Of course.
Yes.
All right, well, I want to go take a look at what you've got on stock right now. Again, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, I appreciate having you here.
All right, well, great.
All right, and let's shop.
All right, let's go. Whether you live in Westerville or anywhere in Central Ohio, we are all honorary alumni of The Ohio State University.
So, we could not pass up the chance to celebrate our national championship Buckeyes at our last stop of our hometown tour at Campfire Brewing. The The newest brewery in Westerville, Campfire Brewing, is around the corner from Westerville Central High School. This fun and family-friendly spot is quickly becoming a local favorite. So I'm with Roland and Dan, and so you guys, I'm excited to be here because my wife and I love coming here. It's such a fun place to be. And the fact that you guys brew beer here too is really neat. So tell me how you guys got started.
It's really started in our neighborhood. So the three of us, Roland came along later on, but the three of us, Brett, myself, and Eric, are all next door neighbors. I had already been brewing with another group of friends where Eric saw me out in the driveway and immediately comes over, and I found out that he had actually been brewing himself, but that idea of like brewing together kind of just stuck around. We started getting pretty good at doing that, and then it wasn't too long, Roland, who's Brett's brother-in-law, really he was the catalyst for kind of kicking me, Eric, and Brett in the butt a little bit to get the thing going. So
you three were the brewers and he was the taster.
Yeah.
He certainly enjoyed that part, yeah.
I definitely joined and, wanted to be a part of the brewing portion. And so, I just fell in love with like Saturday morning brewing. We'd get up at like 8 a.m., start brewing, and then 8 o'clock p.m., we'd sit around the campfire and enjoy the beers. And, it was around that. Now we want to share it with the rest of Westerville.
So how about like any test batches? What do you do with those?
Yeah, so the story behind the test batch is really, it kind of arose because when we were just getting started, we didn't want to put out a product that, well, it wasn't us until it was really us. That was kind of our naming convention to say, hey, this thing's not quite ready yet. But if we liked it and we were able to repeat it, that was a signal to ourselves that it was ready. It kind of gives us a holding place for something new that we want to try, see what sticks, see what people like.
One of the best things about brewing is that we get to be creative and get to try things. And so we don't want to hinder our creativeness by having to be 100% perfect right from the beginning, but then make sure that we stay committed to quality with those things that are named
Perfect.
and are true brand.
Yeah. Well, I love the family-friendly part. So what do you guys have as far as like events? I mean, you got a nice big venue here.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, we have a really large lot. We have somewhere around 0.75 acres. We've got multiple game lanes for cornhole and bocce.
Okay.
So we run cornhole leagues currently right now. On Tuesdays, we do trivia. And on Wednesdays, we have a run club. It's food trucks and live bands. We tend to always have something going on. And so we love that aspect. I mean, again, this is all about bringing the community together. So we're trying to be a community gathering place.
Well, this has been wonderful, and learning about all of this. You've got me thirsty for a beer, so I think it's time for us to go enjoy a beer, and then we can take a look at how you process your beer back there. So,
yeah, sounds great.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us in our hometown of Westerville. Go Bucks! Go Bucks!